as usual. She has to make an entrance. Of course. Hey, y'all. Celine, Nikki, Patricia, Susan, how's everyone doing? Kathy, good evening. Steve, how you doing? John McGinnis, Luann, how's everyone doing?
The queen.
Exactly. You got that right. So, I actually have done a live this week or last week. This is the Queen's first time back. Hello, Christopher. How are you? So,
Because I know what it means to recover and take a moment when you when you have to tap out. I had to tap out.
Okay.
I think people
hold on. The violin. Do I
appreciate
need the
that.
violin? I put it down over there.
Nope.
I need that.
I'm just stating facts, dude.
Some of us
I'm
keep
older
going.
than you, so we need to slow down a little quicker.
Some
than
of
you
us
do.
keep going, and the show must go on, as someone did last night after being sick for 3-4 days in a row, having to go to the doctor's hospital for an X-ray, which I went by myself, by the way. But we
can't help it if
we
you
won't
have
get
a
into that
mental
right
condition.
now. We won't get into that right now. That's for.
But he did, didn't he?
That's for later.
He did, didn't he?
But, yeah, made it to the event yesterday.
Yeah.
Which wasn't sure if I was going to, because again, I'd gotten sick. Well, I went through all this in the other live, but it was a upper respiratory infection, pretty bad. 2 antibiotics, steroids. I'm still kind of a little bit of a cough, but I feel better for the most part. Physically, I finally
and you had a good
feel
nurse.
better.
You had
Anyway,
a great nurse.
Physically, I feel better. And hello, Terry. How are you? So we we went to Liberty Hall last night. We had the second event of the year with Adam Berry from Kindred Spirits. It was a meet and greet.
Yeah.
2:00. Then there was some lectures, and then we did a ghost hunt where we, New Jersey Paranormal, were in the carriage house, and Adam was with somebody else in the mansion. And tell you what, I like that place. I've always liked that place. When you go to a certain place enough times, you know kind of the activity where it could be potentially. And we've got a pretty good vibe in that place. Adam actually pointed that out. No one's investigated that place more than we have. So we kind of are familiar with whoever is there, no matter where you go.
And they know who we are, that's for sure.
And there was pretty good activity. And again, it was people that really don't follow New Jersey Paranormal. There was a lot of
people have never been on a ghost hunt before, ever.
And there was a lot of Adam's followers, and the few people that we knew couldn't make it because they didn't feel well.
Yeah.
Which we were like, okay, all right. So again, pretty active. Yeah. There was one in particular. It was weird because I always say this all the time. And hey, Francis, you know, we had this thing where, you know, again, using equipment came up, and I'm a staunch supporter of using equipment for what we do and how we do it, and for communication purposes and to interact. And when you do this long enough, you do learn that, Chris Mack, you do learn that along with the equipment, along with whoever is in the area, people are the catalyst for activity, for connecting with spirits. And it's all up to who they're willing to connect with, and for good or bad, good way, bad way, negative, positive. And last night, the very first person that in my area, because the carriage house is just that. The horses were downstairs. The people that were servants or
the caretakers.
Yeah, they were workers. Some of them were servants. They would sleep up in the top part, and it was hot up there. come July, there were no air conditioning and stuff.
Well, it was
That it
either
was
hot
woo.
or cold.
So these were hardworking people, and the first person that got interaction was this older woman. Her name was Alice, I believe, when we ran into them at the diner
Yeah.
afterwards.
Alice and Albert.
And she was just kind of like very, hey, Travis.
Hey, Travis.
She was very kind of talking like she was talking to someone she met for the first time, like me. We're talking about we did a public ghost hunt yesterday. It was Adam Berry's event, really, from Kindred Spirits, and we were there supporting him at Liberty Hall. Hey, Deb. So we they were ghost hunting one building. We were in another building. Hey, Dorothy. So we're talking about kind of the things that happened in this carriage house. So hey, Chris. So she was very kind and like I said, she was speaking out loud to the spirits who were there as if she was meeting someone for the first time. And that's when the initial interaction started, centered right around her, not the 5 or 6 other people that were around her, just her. And it was something because I kept telling her, I said, keep talking, keep talking. And she did. And voices kept coming through the obelisk and stuff. One said, good morning. Another one said, they called her Victoria, which I thought was kind of different. Like someone thought she was somebody else. And very polite and respectful to her, the way she was talking to them, which I thought was really, really interesting on both Obelisk and EVP. Then there was a younger person. She was 13. She was young. She was 12, 13. Was it Olivia?
Olivia, but I don't know. I don't know.
She was young. She was very young. And boy, oh boy, if she didn't trigger everything up in that area herself, whoever it was so drawn to her. We kept mapping 2 different figures. There was a little guy that would pop up and kind of show somewhere, like run at people and disappear. Oh, 12. That's yeah, Maureen. And there was a bigger figure. And the first time the figure showed itself is when Olivia stood over there in the corner by herself. And I had her holding a device in her hand too, to try to, again, you try to always double validation, triple validation, quadruple validation, whatever you can to kind of document that there is something going on in that area that wasn't there before. And she held a piece of equipment in her hand. And while we're watching this figure next to her, the piece of equipment in her hand is lighting up. But really, really cool. And she was totally cool about it too, because, that can be intimidating for people to have 5 or 6 other people going, hey, there's someone next to you. There's someone next to you. We're looking on the SLS camera, the structural light sensor. And she's standing probably 5-7 feet away from us, by herself in the dark. And she was really, really good about it. And that activity I was so sorry to see her go. Wow. Because it was 30 minutes of just constant.
I gotta tell you, it didn't end with you with her, because she was in our group and I didn't realize that she was 12 years old. And she holds herself in a much more mature fashion, to be honest with you. And she actually was brave enough to go in the back where we had put Ben from Pix 11. And she was back there in a chair solitarily with the thing over her ears and a mask on, while her mom sat and was listening to what she was saying back and forth. And I got to tell you, she was a catalyst for activity, but she wasn't the only one. There was a Bob. There was, like you said, Albert that was with Alice that it said his name directly. Travis was getting direct responses from the headset being in there. We got a voice that came out and called out Megan, the caretaker. And for anybody that doesn't know anything about Liberty Hall, there is a Megan who works there who is the caretaker. So that was pretty cool in itself. And I had never gotten the opportunity to communicate with Sam or Samantha, a female that's down in the carriage house basement. John was usually the one that's communicating with her, and she came out big time last night for me down in that area, and especially for the gentleman Bob that was down there which was pretty interesting.
Hello, Rivka. I'm seeing some of the comments here. Trying not to ignore anyone. Tina, Lisa, how are you? Um,
I got to tell a real quick story about Tina. By mistake, I kept saying Tracy when Tina was sitting in the chair. And I said, yeah, I got reprimanded for calling her Tracy when it's Tina. And she thought I was saying that she was upset with me, and it wasn't. It was actually the spirits that kept reprimanding me for calling her. It's like they knew I was calling the wrong name, which is so funny.
Well, if they ever did that, then they would always reprimand me because I don't get anybody's name right. But Maureen was saying about how Olivia has been with us multiple times in different areas. Um, it's a trip for us to get involved, when younger people are interested in the paranormal.
Yeah.
And they come. Again, when people ask us, well, how old can our child come to one of your things? What's the age limit? Normally we'll say like 14, 16, because there are some that can't handle it. We did a ghost walk at the mine in October with a bunch of 14-ish, and there were a few of them that were not liking it at all. That we turned the lights off, and when you turned them on, their faces were frozen like.
They were white as a ghost. They were like, yeah, this is not what we expected.
So we always tell people, like, look, the maturity level of your child. You think they can handle it, then, but if they can't, you need to get them out of there.
Yeah.
So Olivia, you could tell, just like Samantha used to be. You guys, if you've been to our bench, you know who Samantha is. We met Samantha when she was 11. She was into the paranormal, smart kid. She's 18 now. One of the smartest kids you'll ever meet, and she just took to it. And you could tell everything that we did. And every time she went on an investigation with us and hung out with us, she was a sponge, just taking in, and going on her own journey and learning stuff her own way. And Olivia should do the exact same thing. If she's into this, start watching a couple of different people's lectures, read John Zaffis, read some of his books. She'll go her own path, but it's great to see younger people do that and be so open to do it.
She was.
So Hermione Museum, yes.
That place is amazing.
So again, and the good thing about yesterday was that Travis was there, and there's people that we did know, and then but a lot of people we didn't know who, like Chris said, had never been on a ghost hunt or any kind of paranormal investigation, and they don't know what to expect, and they're there because they're Adam Barry fans, right? There are a lot of people when they go on these celebrity ghost hunts, they want to be with the guy who they're a fan of. I would too if I was, doing that. They don't really know who we were and what to expect, and to see them like kind of walk up and be like, who are these guys type of thing, and then have a good time and really get into it, and talk to us afterwards and tell us, that they enjoyed it. And I like that part of it a lot too.
I did too. I like the interaction. I tell you, there was a gentleman, Bob and Susan, that came, older couple together that was in my group, and it was hysterical because Bob started interacting. The spirit was interacting. This is what John's and we always talk about, is that the energy of people, and what that energy. We always say that what energies are drawn to what. So what energy do you give off that the spirit is drawn to or repelled by? And there was something about Bob that drew the energy. And we actually put
what
him.
About Bob?
We put him in a spot so it could communicate more with him. And while that was happening, I said to his wife, Susan, tell us more about Bob. Why do you think this spirit is so drawn? Is there anything more that you can give us other than his name's Bob? And she started giving more information about what he did, what his job was, what he was retired from, his whole profession and stuff. And the more she talked about him, the more the response was heightening up with Bob and with Susan. And the funny thing is, Bob got so comfortable, he was flirting with this spirit and basically saying, don't worry, I'll drop my wife off later.
One of the things too, now that I remember that I mentioned Travis, it's always great when other people see the things you've seen when you're doing this many times in many different places. And up on the top of the carriage house, even when Ben was there with us filming a couple of years ago, you do see a shadow figure or two
We did. We saw
lingering
one.
around there. And Travis said to me, I saw a shadow figure in the last room where somebody would have, one of the servants would have stayed. He said, I saw them right over there. And I'm like, well, you know what, Travis? I pulled an Aaron on him. I'm like, you're going in there by yourself.
No.
And Travis didn't hesitate, never
went.
hesitates. He went, but he got a little scratch right on the side of his face. And he was in that room going, hey, Carlos. He was in that room going, I don't know if I got scratched. I don't know what I'm feeling, but he goes, I don't know. I feel like something may have scratched me. So we called him out and the flashlight and everything. And there was red. There were red marks on the side of his face. And it wasn't like a solid, like,
No,
but
just a
he
light.
said he felt it and he was in that exact room where, and again, what is there to that? You know what I mean? Nobody else saw that shadow figure. I saw it. I even saw it after he saw it. He saw it. I saw it. And he's the one who saw it and nobody else did. Was that on purpose? To pique his curiosity to where as soon as I said, you want to go in there? And he's like, yeah. And he went in there. And then what happened when he did? Oh, yeah, you saw me? Boom. Negative interaction.
No,
Or
we got,
maybe it was someone was just trying to touch his face.
or get
I don't know.
his
Yeah.
attention. But it was funny too because the first two, it only happened with the first two groups. And what was happening is that I had a sensor light that was over by the door that leads out of upstairs to where the stalls are for the horses, and the door was completely closed. And the sensor light there that has to be triggered by obviously shadow, and all of a sudden, someone in the back had the spirit thing over their ears and their and their eyes covered, and they said behind you. And right after that person said behind you, that light by that door behind us went bink. We all just went whoa. And then I think the gentleman that you said his name was John, the big tall guy,
Yeah.
he was sitting there and he said, I hear like crinkling,
Said
like
his name. The
like
said his name.
footsteps. He said, I hear
Or my name.
footsteps. See, John was above me, way above me. We had a floor between us, and I was down in the basement, and he was up on top in the living quarters. And he heard crinkling and sounds. And as soon as he did that, and I couldn't hear, I'm deaf in the side that I was facing, that they could hear me, the other people, three of them in a chair, could hear it. And I couldn't hear it. They said they heard like walking, like somebody walking on stones or pebbles. And as soon as right before they said that, I said, oh my God, there was a shadow. And I think he saw the shadow just like when I did go, like, and then they said they heard the walking, which that's pretty crazy.
It was, again, the nights where there's activity are the best nights because they make our lives so much easier because,
oh yeah,
it had been a while since we've been there. I think September.
I don't think I've ever done the carriage house.
Yeah, I've
never known, like, I was down there when we filmed with Pix 11, obviously, but I've never been there to try to communicate like I was communicating.
Well, don't get
that
used
night.
to it. It's my space. So.
It's a pretty cool space. No, I like right? The other spots too. There isn't.
This is what they do on this team.
Let me tell you something. My favorite spot in that place is the original bottom part where the cooks all resided and lived with the family. The original part. That's my favorite space.
But no, we were leaving there. We saw Adam on the way out. We have to collect all of our stuff and put it in our cars and everything. And Adam was just leaving, and we were heading towards the gate. They have a gate that opens up, big automatic gate.
Yeah.
And he comes over to us, and he was like, "Wow." He's like, "Good night, huh?" He goes, "We're like, yeah, it was pretty good." He goes, we'll do this again. I said, "Yeah." I'm like, "This is a great place." And he goes, "I hear all the activity was in the carriage house and with you guys and with me." He was on the first floor of the mansion, and I heard that he got some really good EVPs down there. So again, one of those times where you wonder from the perspective of spirit who resides there, are we getting close to the holidays, Thanksgiving, all this other stuff? So are more of them around? Is that possible to where for whatever reason, if they're not there all the time, and if they choose to be there, or if some of them are there all the time, and some of them do just kind of bip, 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 bip in and out, you wonder now if during the holidays and stuff, are you more inclined to get, especially in a family building like that, 4 generations of Kane families lived in that home. Holidays, friends, dinners, you name it, entertaining,
Let alone the people who worked the grounds and took care of the horses. Yeah, it was really active, wasn't it, Tina? You were there before.
Yeah. So it was good. It was really good. So that's what we were doing last night. And again, we knew when we were planning this stuff, when I was planning this stuff, we knew September was going to be sort of the on the entrance to the highway. We knew what that was gearing up to. We knew October was going to be just a mountain that we were going to have to get through, and then we knew October would be, I mean, November would be the expo. But we also knew to recover from the expo, we had the event with Adam right after that. So it was just like, geez, so we gonna get through all this. I never told before I switched it out and everything because I couldn't believe it. What are we talking about? I never had that before. I switched it in and out. I had an interaction in the carriage house 2 years ago. Tall stick figure appeared in front of me on camera. Crazy feeling. That happened actually to several people yesterday. Once the figure appeared, I think Donna Schultz might have been in that group with me. The cold just just rushed right in, right around everyone, and it's great because, okay, two going off. You not everything is bad. You know what I mean? Not everything is scary. It doesn't need to be. Sometimes spirit communication and spirit interaction is a good thing because they are open, kind, nice people who want to interact with people and make their presence known.
So we keep time. I'm
going to do this because this is what I get constantly when I'm talking.
No, so. I just wanted to say that that just a memory just came back from last night was that we keep time of when it's time to change the group, obviously, and all of a sudden the spirit in the back said, "It's time for you to go," and the alarm goes off to switch, and that was kind of crazy. It was like right on point. So I think they really do see and know and identify. I had 3 people that were called by their name.
Yeah.
We were always very respectful and literally introduced ourselves when new people came in, who was in the group, who we were introducing, who would you like to speak to. We actually asked if, like you had suggested, light up in somebody else's hand if you would like that person to go back for you to have a connection to, and someone's item did light up and we put them back there. But the funny thing is that when we put them back there, they stopped communicating with them. Wasn't that bizarre? We actually had where we introduced ourselves and the dome lit up, and then I said, okay, I thank you for doing that, but to let us know that you're really communicating with us and you're intelligently communicating and you're listening to us. Can you just go right down the row? And it did, and it was amazing. It blew my mind away. I love that.
Yeah, I love it too.
I know you do.
But yeah, back to my again, because the way my brain works, it's you always wonder why one time is different than the other anywhere you go. And again, I do think based on like last night, you wonder if there is some weird pattern to things. You know what I mean? Like, even let's say the people that worked in the carriage house were there. Let's say that's who we were communicating with. Why are they there? You know what I mean? Hopefully they're not stuck there. I don't think they are. But is there some kind of weird time?
Yeah, because why would anybody want to go back to their job?
That's what I'm saying, because that's what Andrea Perrin says, and some of the others, like in the Conjuring House, there's layers of different spirits from different times that exist within that one building. If that is a thing, then that would explain again something like last night in my brain. You sit there and you think, well, again, we're getting into the holiday season. Maybe that house was very busy starting November, December into January, and maybe that's when it was quote all hands on deck, being very busy
Oh,
doing
because of the
things, keeping up the
holidays
grounds,
and
keeping up the
yeah,
horses, doing all,
visitors.
and maybe that's sort of the trigger of that one time where it wasn't very active and busy, busy,
That
busy,
makes
busy
sense
house.
in that theory because they had such prominent visitors to that house. They had very prominent. They had,
Well,
ten.
yeah, they did. They entertained a lot. They were an affluent family, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying, it is so weird if you think in terms of who you're talking to and why you're talking to them, to be able to just time slip, whatever you want to call it, to be able to just tap into a period of existence where, if you want to call it dimensions, whatever is, are crossing, where the living, here we are with, I don't think, you wonder how necessarily they see us in that situation. You know what I mean? That's the bigger question, is that what are we doing there? You know what I mean? Are they intelligent enough? I've seen that they are, to see that we are there walking around the building and doing these different things and talking and trying to engage them. But what is going on in their existence? Is it normal going on there, or did they see the others? Are they existing within that time period and we're just visitors?
Or were the
How do they, no, not
Yeah.
even interlopers,
Oh,
how does it rationalize from that perspective,
maybe we
with
are.
us being, if let's say we are caught in their period of time and here we are, how did they rationalize it on their end? Is it their normal to have things like that happen, and they know that they've passed, yet they do exist in these different
Or are they
dimensions?
continuing to exist in that time frame or whatever, and that on that loop, and we are the interlopers popping in that we don't belong there?
Well,
I mean, they're different theory sets. So I got a quick question for you because you've been down there so often. Have you ever crossed anything down there that says that it's been hurt, there's been an accident, or it needs assistance?
upstairs, no, not downstairs.
And down in the basement,
Up in the top carriage, in the carriage house, I'm actually mapped someone looked like they were dragging themselves across the floor, and I've got EVPs where someone asked for help.
We got that downstairs.
Yeah.
So I was just curious if that was just a follow up of what was going on.
Well, Patricia, to your point, how do you know who can see and not see? Maybe again, it's one, or maybe nobody has, maybe we don't have the ability to see them, and maybe they don't have the ability to, whatever it needs to be, full body apparitions. You know what I mean? We talk about that all the time too. And how does one spirit throw a table across the room, and yet another could just, you get a little cold when you're in a particular area? What is the difference between that spectrum of one and the other? How does a spirit have so much energy and others don't have any? Where are they in the transition point? That's the big picture question. And I talked to Grant Wilson about this for like 2 hours. And Grant has, again, I can't wait till he releases his data and his theories. He's got a great explanation for all of that.
Yeah.
And it really does have to do with where you are from the time you go to the time you're finished and you ultimately transition to heaven, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot in between there. And he breaks it down, boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. And it makes a whole lot of sense the way he did it. I mean, again, I hate talking like this because I can't explain it, but he described so many different parts of the transition.
It logically made sense.
And it was like, wow, you know what? Not totally out of the realm of, conceptually for us as the living to grasp what he's saying and go, it's not that far of a reach, really. If you really want to look at it logically, it does make sense. Otherwise, it makes no sense, because nothing makes sense if you're dealing with the afterlife and spirits and what happens and what doesn't happen and why and the hows. this is part of the problem with when we go on and on about equipment. Um, you know, people are like, oh, ideally I only use this or that or this and that and this and that. And I just like, during my lecture yesterday, I'm not shy about arguing with people about any of this because
We'll have an open discussion about it.
I'm not shy about arguing with people about this because I believe what I believe, and I've done this a long time, and I've tested my way a long time, and I believe I've gotten actual results in interaction a long time.
But you explained it in a really good, clear, concise way when it comes to why you said that it's important not to Yes, take your quick drink. But you explained why it was important, and the example that you used when it came down to your cousin and the people that are deaf in your family, and how that communication was important if it wasn't for the fact of an app that was used between you and your cousin.
I would have said that right then, but thank you. But yeah, so where I was going with this was, in a perfect world, an apparition would appear in front of you and say, "This is who I am. This is why I'm here. These are the members of my family. This is when I worked here, when I died, whatever. This is what happened to me. This is what the afterlife is like. And whatever happens,
well, this is
in a perfect world, that would happen.
Yeah.
And we would all know the answers and everything would be great. The only other part of the perfect world scenario is if you had a recorder and you got those same answers only back and forth. Question, answer, like a telephone, back and forth. Don't work that way. Never has and never will. So you really have to open your mind to the different possibilities of how do you make communication and interaction better or possible, with different things, different ways. Like she said, if we limit ourselves to one method of communication or two, our box is this big. That's it.
You've cut off a lot.
This is it. If we limited ourselves to, like she was saying, with my siblings, sign language, if one knows it, I don't. There's no communication. Let's got you go that way, I go this way, I'll nod, you talk, I nod, that's it. Or I could write something down maybe and they could read it. But why not open that up again through technology and everything else to where now we've got this big of a box, because now I could take out this tool, an app that writes when you talk, something else, you know what I mean? Anything else, a pen and a paper, it's just braille, you name it, for people that can't see.
There's different methods that you're using to reach the same thing, because like you said, what if you have just braille for someone who's blind, but somebody doesn't have the sense of touch? There goes the use of being able to use braille. So you're using the different types of things that's going to reach the person in the way to communicate. That's going to close that gap.
So that's what I believe. And again, I know people have different opinions. I know people that do things that I think are complete horseshit. And I say it all the time. From me and my perspective, I watch people do things, again, me personally. If you do this and it works for you and you think it's great and it's a method of communication, maybe I'm not doing it the way you do. Maybe I'm not doing it right. Maybe I'm not in tune for the way those things work. But like dowsing rods, Ouija boards, never. Pendulums, no. For me, and I would never use any of those as a tool for interacting and communicating with spirits. But that's me. So if that works for you.
And he says that knowing that we do have a session where we do use natural ways and the oldest ways that were used for communicating.
Yeah, but I've used it and I've never gotten.
It just doesn't call
any
you.
results.
And this is what I always tell people. And that he has his form. I have my way of teaching people different ways of communicating. The older school way doesn't work for you. You have a different mind. You can't quiet yourself. You have to be a meditative state kind of to open up to the way that we do it in the other sessions.
quieting my mind right now, believe it or not.
No,
Believe
you're
it or not.
not,
Oh,
because
it
it's
is
loud
quieting.
as heck from over here.
But I'm just telling you, my perspective is I don't use any of that stuff, and I won't use any of that stuff. I've seen table tipping, and I think it's total horse crap. But I know people that swear by it and use it as a method and say it works. And no, not for me. But again, I could be completely wrong about that. I'm I'm not always with these people doing it the way they're doing it, and I'm not always seeing the results that they're getting and how they're getting them. I've only seen it here and there and done it here and there. So I'm at least open to the idea that is it possible? Sure. Is it a method I would use? No, never.
It's not your preferred method.
But that's the whole idea of it, you know. The I would I would never say to people, don't do it that way because it doesn't work. If you want to use a Ouija board, more power to you. Pendulum, dowsing rods, um, clicking a couple of rocks together, that's on you. If it works for you, great. But I'm not going to preach you which way to do it. But I don't. I would want someone not to do the same for me. It's
You're just saying what works for you.
But it's all. But it's based on years and years of trying and experience.
And your preferences. It is about preferences, but right?
You like you said though, I am wired for me.
You are.
I'm not wired for you.
Absolutely.
I'm not wired, and I would never presume that my way of being wired and doing this would work for anybody out there. I am the paranormal savior. It for some reason right. It just works in a million ways. Hey David, you're a little late, but you know, this week we do have to. Someone mentioned the Sterling Mine before. We have to go there tomorrow night. We have friends that are filming a YouTube thing up there, so we're going to be heading up there and hanging out for a bit. Don't think we're going to be investigating. It's more or less just being up there to make sure they don't get trapped in there. The bear don't get them. Mm-hmm. But you know, Saturday we're back at the Barron Arts Center. That's the New Jersey Paranormal fundraiser that we were planning. We never worked out the whole Venmo donation thing, so unfortunately people can't, you know, help us online or donate anything online. I actually did do it. I did get the Venmo up and running for. They were using it at the silent auction. Well, maybe you should mention that. Yeah. So maybe we'll put that on our page. If you guys can't make it and you want to support us, we're only going to do this. We're having a meet and greet too, right? That day? Yeah, we'll be there 4 to 6. Okay. For the meet and greet. So you can come in and just say hi, stop by. And again, this is just to support New Jersey Paranormal. Equipment's expensive. Gas is expensive. Everything we do costs money, and we're a 501, so we don't make a lot of money. You'd just be helping us out, even if it was whatever, $1, $5, whatever. You'd still be helping us out because that all will go into stuff for next year. Where have you been? Have you done things at the Creeper Gallery? I don't see you anymore. That was what we were literally just talking about before, the Creeper Gallery. We have a Donna's doing an auction. It's this Saturday, November 18th. The ghost hunt itself is sold out, so there aren't any spaces available for the ghost hunt. But if you wanted to come earlier from 4 to 6 and just hang out with us and see the Barron Arts Center, you're welcome to come. Again, this is a fundraiser. Barron Arts Center is very good to us. They've always been good to us. So whatever the proceeds from this, we're just going to put back in and buy equipment and get stuff that we need. Batteries themselves are super expensive. We order batteries by 100 packs, and we change them every week in every piece of equipment that we have. So do the math. I mean, between AAA, AA, 9-volt, we go through bundles. I go through hundreds of dollars just on batteries. It's the truth. Oh my God. So that's the Barron Arts Center, and you mentioned the Creeper Gallery. We're doing a live auction. I think it's Friday night with Donna, but there is a chance that there may be a Creeper live this week or one next week. I know the person sitting next to me doesn't want to do that, but I got the itch, so
He
I
does
just
have
might
the
go.
itch. I need a little more downtime. I haven't recovered at all.
Christopher. He did. Christopher did donate to the New Jersey Paranormal Tour bus for sure. Very generous last year. And that leads us up to uh, December. Burlington Prison. Ghost Hunt also sold out, but the meet and greet, you guys could come from 12 to 4, hang out with us, tour they're reopening the Burlington Prison. Did a lot of renovations, which could lead to starting some stuff up. And we'll have 2 people with us, 2 good friends of ours. Shannon, the palm reader, she'll be there. First 15 people that make a $10 donation to the Prison Historic Society will get a palm reading if they sign up for the palm reading with Shannon, and she's really good. We had her on here where she read both of our palms. And our buddy Edward Anderson, the guy who did the demonstration with the bones and the runes, he'll be also the first 15 that make a $10 donation to the prison. You'll get a free reading. Otherwise, it's free. Everybody else is free admission. If you want the readings, you got to make a $10 donation, and it's only limited to 15 per person. So come hang out if you're not doing anything. December 9th. Even though my birthday's 2 days from now, you can still bring gifts. Not too late. Holiday gift, birthday present, whatever you choose to call it. It's fine with me.
She's doing the palm reading right there at the prison.
I'm bummed I'm going to miss the prison. Said no one ever, Colleen. I believe that's the first time anybody ever said that. The ghost hunt is sold out, Heather. Yes. Beyond sold out.
The ghost hunt for the prison is, but you can come and do the tour and hang out with us from what?
12 to 4.
12 to 4. You can come and hang out with us there.
But yeah, there are really no ghost hunts left for us to sell tickets for. The Hoover House probably has some spots available. Not many. For December 1st and 2nd, 2nd and 3rd, whatever that is.
It's the 1st and 2nd.
Yeah. They have some spots available, $75 a person with Cody Satori. I know the Creeper Gallery, the Ghosts of Christmas Past, will probably be going on sale any day now.
But that's only what, 12 people?
Per session. We're doing 2 sessions.
We're doing 2 sessions. Yeah. Okay.
So that'll be where you're live in the Creeper Gallery watching us investigate haunted objects.
And you get to be a part of it.
Yeah, we pass them around. If you want to be part of that one, those tickets, I think she sells them for like $25. It's hour and a half, 2 hours maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to want to get tickets for that. And again, it's the holidays. That is our very last event for this year. Then we're going to fold the tents, put the wagons away.
You promise?
And we are done for.
You promise?
As far as public events, yeah, for a while. For a couple weeks. For a while. I'm kidding. We always do February at the Clark.
Well, that's different. That's one. But I need some downtime. So.
And I'm getting emails from people that are Berkeley College wants us to come back. Do that again. Clark Municipal Building wants us to come back when there's no one in the baseball field. Some people want us back to go do and sit in our university. They want us to check out those other spots.
Well, I love doing this stuff. Absolutely. But on the same token, this little old lady needs to have fill up the tank. The tank is a little empty.
Unfortunately,
she's a little bit beat up.
For you, this isn't a democracy.
Well, then you need to take and get yourself a little assistant.
I got how many other teammates? We can manage.
Okay, you heard this, right?
We manage.
You guys heard this, right?
Any
new spots on the horizon?
What?
Any new spots on the horizon? Locations?
No, not really. Maybe one. It's one of those things where we've got enough great spaces that we support. We can't take on more. That's the last thing we can do now. We can't.
We've got a lot.
Yeah, we can't take on more. There's a few places that I've been in contact with, and it's just like I don't want to do it every weekend. I don't. Bad enough we do it every other weekend.
Pretty much do it every weekend.
So I don't want to do it every weekend. So I have to kind of pick and choose who we're going to support, who's been good to us, and the places that we like doing. And even that's going to be limited next year to be not nearly as bad as it was this year. We just got contacted by a Rotary club that like, hey, you want to come here and we'll feed you free drinks, free food, and all you got to do is give a lecture and we'll pay you. And we're like, seriously? So that's something that they want to set up already for next year. And I'm just like, people don't want to hear that I don't want to talk about next year yet, because I really don't.
But you have set up some pretty cool interviews closing out this year.
Antique shop, no, none into that. Again, that's, the Creeper Gallery is enough for me. Donna's a, I love Donna. Donna's a good friend of mine, and I support her in her business with everything that I got. And I noticed there are other people that are investigating antique shops now. Haunted objects are the big thing now, and people are doing that in their towns and other paranormal. And I don't begrudge it, because any object could have an attachment. But Creeper Gallery, if I'm going to investigate any objects or anything like that, it's going to be with Donna, and that's it. It's because she's a friend of mine, and I'm not just going to do that willy-nilly. If I see something in an antique shop and I feel an attachment, I'll bring it to the Creeper, and I'll investigate it there. But no, I'm not looking to go to any other shops or anything like that. I support my friends, always have.
Yeah.
And when we get, like I said, people want to talk about next year, and I know a lot of people are planning events already. Not me. It's this year was a grind, a big grind.
And when he says that, we have a really good time doing what we do. It's just that
no, I've never been there.
Our bodies took a heck of a beating this year.
No, as sick as I was after the convention, and the grueling schedule that we had in October, my fault completely. It was an eye opener and a wake up call to where, and the fact that I want to do more stuff with us, just going weekends and going and doing things. And there's still plenty of weekends for you guys and for what we do, but there's got to be
balance,
a happy medium.
Is
there a happy medium out there?
There is.
No,
but not. Are you going to talk about the pretty cool interviews you've got set up to close out the year?
Why, yes, I am.
Well, very good.
Thank you for
Please
mentioning
take the
that.
Floor.
That's an amazing job this year.
Thank you.
Nah, Donna.
We're lucky to have
Donna,
you guys.
Yeah, you're a good friend, Donna, and you're very understanding, and you have an open mind, and like I said, I appreciate you, and I'm sorry for what you went through at that experience when you went on that other ghost hunt. But
yeah,
you're good people. We at the expo, we were talking to a bunch of different people, and I want to do a bunch of live interviews, and I think I mentioned this during the last live stream in December. I want to close out the year on a positive vibe for you guys and for us. So I want to try to get at least four. The four that I'm probably going to talk to are probably Steve Gonzalez again from Ghost Hunters, hopefully Jason Hawes from Ghost Hunters, Dustin Parry, also Ghost Hunters, Chip Coffee, for sure.
And Chip Coffee's becoming our
Chip
tradition.
is our annual December. We talked to him a couple of days ago on the phone. So I'd like to get a bunch of interviews and just so, again, we could all enjoy ourselves together. And, you guys could ask them questions. We could, and I'm even kind of considering, I've got to get permission, but we have the lectures from the expo. We have videos of all the lectures. So, and they were good. They were really, really good.
Chip is good.
Yeah, Chip's fine. And I'm going to try to get permission to show some of them to you guys, especially if you couldn't make it. And it'd be cool because we didn't get to watch them either. We were busy running around. So it would be cool to have a presentation night where we show it live and you guys watch as we watch. And we could even pause it and talk about different areas and go over different things and comment on it. I just need to get permission before I show any of them. And there's a lot of them. we're talking Ghost Brothers, Ghost Hunters, Ronnie LeBlanc, Kalani, uh, everybody was speaking that weekend.
Dustin, Zappis,
John Zappis,
Chip.
yeah. So
I don't think we filmed.
no, we couldn't do
the
the Chip is a Q&A thing.
Yeah,
I don't think we'd
didn't
show
do
that.
Chip.
He's not going to want that. So
No.
Chip will leave out of that. But it'd be really cool to do that again December to kind of thanks to you guys having all those interviews and maybe showing those lectures. I think it'd be really cool
I think
to
so
round
too.
out the year.
I haven't seen him yet.
Yeah.
And we have John McGinnis to thank for that.
Yeah, John McGinnis, who's a pain in the butt, but I love the guy. I love the guy.
He's it. What is he?
He's the Grim Reaper,
yeah,
man.
the Grim
Him
Reaper.
and Jay.
He keeps telling you what
I had
the
the two
weather
Grim
is.
Reapers with me at the expo with it. It was okay this time. But I mean, again, we realize that we don't do as many lives as we used to be on here 3 days a week, which we'll try to get back to once we finish all this craziness. But we do enjoy coming on here and seeing everybody. And here's the cool thing too. And this was mentioned a lot during the expo as well as these other events that we do. And it's true. Patricia, all Travis, they'll all tell you the same thing, Kathy, that here you see the names here. When you go to our events, those people are right there in front of you, every other event or at a few events. So you meet them and they do feel like recognizable friends to you because it's like you see the comments and I see people talking to each other within the comments, even on my personal page. So that's a very, very cool thing to create, again, a community.
Yeah.
We're watching this thing on Netflix called Escaping Twin Flames.
Oh,
and it's a cult and that this couple started and they totally manipulated like everybody that was joining this online thing. And I'm like, I think I could create a cult if I wanted to. I really do. A small one, but maybe. What did she say?
Yeah, they did tell us that it was Livingston. Yeah, you did, Donna.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That's what I mean. Adam, it's cool when someone even of Adam's experience who does this a lot and goes to all these different places. It's cool when you even see him excited and happy about the amount of interaction and activity. He was even big smile on his face, like, wow, it seems like we got all the activity, with a big smile on his face.
We hear nothing about the carriage house.
And I was like, yeah, it's when it works out, it's great. But sometimes when they don't want to speak or be bothered, those are long nights. And that's the thing tomorrow night that we're doing. These guys, are filming there, and they're going to be in there for a lot of hours. And we're gonna. I don't know if we're ever going to go in and investigate with them, but we'll be kind of hanging around. And it's one of those things. Curious what they're going to get.
I agree.
You never know. You just don't. Everyone we've ever brought in there has been blown away when they've done investigations. So it'll be really cool to see what they get. So anyway, it's funny how I can get interrupted with a hand on me like 30 times, and then when I expect her to chime in and add commentary,
there was also a Bert. There was a Robert. Stuart came through down in the carriage house basement, and people were, who's Stuart? And up on the second floor, for those that were on the second floor, Stuart, where the toy room is now, was Stuart's bedroom. He was one of the children of the King family, and he was quite the ladies man, and that was his room. And if you talk about the ladies and if you put stuff by any of the ladies in the group, the lights and stuff would go off.
What'd you say he was?
He was a ladies man.
Do you notice the accent was the same on ladies man? It was like Jamaican accent. Slapping the bass man. Slapping the bass man.
He liked the ladies. That's all I can say. So yeah, it was. So Stuart came through in the carriage house, and that was pretty cool because I knew who Stuart was, and other people didn't, and I was able to share that. So that was pretty amazing.
So I'm on a personal note. I went to see a neurologist for this issue with my eyes, and I'm getting another MRI, a more extensive MRI of my whole entire area of this side of my face. and to see what it could be. And they think it's either a blood clot or a tumor. Um, After that, it's just a matter of treatment, what they're going to do with it. So it's been too long. I've been dealing with this, wearing these damn sunglasses all the time. But hopefully, beginning of the year, I'll be better. Hopefully. What did she say? The Liberty guy was with our group. I don't know his name. He worked with Stewart, and I was hoping he'd come through, but back to our last session. Yeah, that's what we were talking about when somebody asked about new places and anywhere new. Um, when you look at the places that we work with now, especially, and I can't, I love going into these places again and again. I really do, because Liberty Hall, that's one of them.
Yeah.
Camp Evans, InfoWays. We haven't even used that site to its potential. There is another building
So
behind,
much more.
and a carriage house. I mean, an apartment built, whatever you want to call it, living space across the road. We haven't even gotten into those yet with people. Uh, the mine, Sterling Hill Mine, number 3, Centenary University, number 4. I mean, these are places that, again, we these places are like, we can't get there enough. And those 4 or 5 places by themselves, if we do 4 or 5 events there a year, we're already up to 20, events. And there's only,
and that's not talking about
52
the prison.
weeks.
That's not talking about
yeah, everybody wants to go back to
Caldwell
Burlington Prison.
and the Barron Arts Center. I
Yeah.
mean, we just there's so many of them.
Everybody wants to go back to Burlington Prison, so I'm going to throw a couple of those on the docket. If you want to talk about a new place, not really new for us, but we'll be doing probably 2 or 3 of those next year.
And they've done renovations, so it'll be interesting to go back in there and see what has been stirred up while they were doing the renovations.
Yeah, so I mean, again, that's enough for me. I mean, we dabbled in a few new places this year. Centenary was new. Peachfield was new, but I don't know. We'll see. Would you do the Peachfield again? Was it cool? I don't know. To be honest with you, Laura, I don't know. It's a vibe thing for me when it comes to working with people and places. We give our time and our energy, and it costs money to drive up there and back or whatever. So we develop relationships and friendships with the people that we support, and it's a feel thing, so maybe not when it comes to the Peachfield. We'll figure that out as we go.
Yeah.
I don't sit down and make a schedule till December. When somebody forces me to, when people start asking me for dates, which happens in December, that's when I sit down and go, okay, I better start putting pen to paper and outlining something. And then I put it all together, and I give it to the rest of the Nicks, and I give it to the rest of them, and we go back and forth. What dates could you make? What dates can't you make? Is there any of this stuff that's a conflict? And, we work it out. And again, the luxury that we have now, that we have Colleen and Danielle, is that, there are 6 of us now. There was always 4, me, Tanya, Kenny, Chris. That was it. 4 of us. So if we were sick, if any of us couldn't make it, something came up, we were in a bit of a bind as far as when doing events. And now that we have Colleen and Danielle, who are, again, growing themselves into good investigators and good at doing what they're doing, I think we're much more well-rounded now.
Where's Mansfield
than we
prison?
have been. Mansfield?
No clue. Where's that at, Donna?
Is that Ohio? I think it's Ohio. But yeah, we always considered going on a road trip to one of these big prisons and doing an event.
We talk about doing a cruise.
Yeah, but the problem is,
get that going.
When you do that, you have to rent the building first.
Yes.
You got to put money up front.
Yeah, we've got to take the risk.
And it's usually $1,000 or more, and
we don't have that disposable.
And you need to pay that. So
yeah.
I mean, and we don't kind of work that way. So we ain't doing that. Or maybe someday we'll figure it out. But
so, yeah.
That's it for now. When we come back Tuesday or Wednesday, it might be from the Creeper Gallery, and it might be just me.
It might B. Yeah, I'm working on trying to get a cruise together for 2024. I don't even know if that's possible this date. What? Don't be making.
What have you done steps to 2024 is literally a month and a half away.
Well, it's not going to be the very beginning of the year, obviously.
Anyway, I don't know about my birthday is Tuesday, so I don't know if I would celebrate my birthday alone in the Creeper Gallery.
I should hope not, because I plan on taking you out for dinner.
Although that would be kind of cool.
Oh, isn't that nice? You'd rather do that than go to dinner.
Who would say they were dumb enough to go and celebrate their birthday night alone in a building with all haunted objects? Come on, that's dedication. You got to admit. No, I won't do it Wednesday. But yeah, maybe Wednesday. Maybe Wednesday after my birthday. But that's it, guys. I'm trying to put all that stuff together for December. Look for tickets for the Creeper Gallery. If you want to bug Donna, please do. I would laugh because she's going to yell at me if you do. So go to the Creeper Gallery page, Facebook, and inbox Donna Marion. I think there's only going to be, like I said, 12 tickets for each session. So message her now if you feel like going to, I think it's December 15th, whatever that Friday is of that week is when we're doing it. So message her, tell her you're interested in coming and our tickets available. And tell her John sent you. All right, guys. We'll see you soon.
Everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, and please be kind to each other.